You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 17th, 2024 meeting of the Michigan City Housing Authority Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right, it's 3 o'clock. I'd like to call today's regular meeting of the Housing Authority Board of Commissioners to order. Maybe I'll stand for the Commissioner Vincent, could you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Dixon, could you call the roll, please?
Chairman Loney,
Present.
Vice Chair Reyna,
Present.
Commissioner Benny,
Present.
Commissioner Benson,
Present.
Commissioner Connolly, absent, Commissioner Greer, absent.
Well,
Yes.
President, Ms. Benning has just advised me there may be something where you have to leave the meeting, so we might want to consider, just in case that happens, if that happens, we won't have a quorum, we might want to consider moving some of the business items that require a vote up in the agenda a little bit, just in case something happens. That's up to you. As the president, I'm just suggesting, that way you can take a vote and you can proceed with your reports with less than a quorum, and it'll be okay.
okay. All right, well, yeah, we can go to the schedule center here.
The schedule. When I talked with Attorney Rags, it didn't have to be, it just needed to be talked about, and I can disperse it.
Okay. All right, we didn't need to vote on.
We didn't need to vote. So what he's referring to is that we scheduled the calendar of meetings for 2025. And we actually have time to do it if there's.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Next month, but it is done. Attorney Rax said that there was no reason for us to vote on it. And my apologies, I intended to add it to the packet, but nothing to vote on.
Yeah, we're in our new fiscal year, so I just made a list of the upcoming meetings. The one issue is our June meeting's going to fall on Juneteenth.
Correct.
So we need to move it either a week earlier, a week later. I suggest a week later, if everybody's good with that. It's still going to be, all meetings are going to be 3 o'clock here, third Thursday, except in June, because we have to make room for the holiday.
And I went ahead on the calendar to put it for the following week. And again, Attorney Rax said that we didn't need to vote on that, as long as everyone was okay with that, and I can present it, either I can send it in an email or at the next meeting.
And that only came because I didn't see it on the agenda. I thought we were going to discuss it. Okay.
He said it didn't need to be.
Let's do the next thing on the agenda, which is the approval of the minutes. We have the June 20th amendments. Have you guys had a chance to look them over? They should have been emailed. If there are any issues.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, approve the minutes. And Chairman's opening remarks, I don't have much. Glad we're all here. Sorry we missed last month's meeting. We didn't have a quorum, so we weren't able to proceed. But we'll get through everything today as best we can. Hopefully, we've got enough time so Commissioner Biddy can participate. With that in mind, let's go ahead and go to the new business regarding the resolution for payment standards and flat rents, because that we do need to vote on and need to discuss, because we need to make sure we're getting enough money to take care of our tenants and charge them appropriately. So you said that we needed to file certain documentation with HUD, but that's all done, correct?
Everything's been done. So on an annual basis, HUD publishes the annual FMRs, and we base the amounts that we pay for the Housing Choice Voucher Program on the FMRs. So Housing Authority is able to set their payment standards. Let me clarify. The payment standards are the maximum amounts that the Housing Authority can pay per bedroom size. So when you see the payment standards, there'll never be a situation where the Housing Authority make a payment higher than what the payment standard is. And so HUD allows us to set our payment standards between 90 and 110% of the FMR. Once COVID came along, HUD made some exceptions and allowed housing authorities to go up to 120%. So we did that for a few years, and after that, for the last couple of years, HUD has just had us do an extra layer where we request from HUD, let them know that we're going to go to the 120%. So I've done that. and then the next portion is just for us to approve those amounts. So the payment standards that you see here, I have the 2025 FMRs, and then the payment standards are as listed, and I have them set at 120%. And so what we will do with the payment standards is that beginning December 1st, for any new admission or move, the new payment standard will be applicable, and the new, it would also be applicable starting in January for all recertifications.
And this allows us to apply more funds so people are more able to get apartments that they can afford, right?
Right, so-
We're providing a higher
So,
level
so
of funding.
the payment standard, so HUD issues the FMRs based on local market analysis in our area. And so once that's done, the housing authorities then can determine within their area where they want to set the payment standards. And pretty much the trend, again, since COVID, has been to do 120%. If you do 120%, it gives the clients more options as far as looking for units, because we'll pay more. We'll pay more. And so what happens is families are capped. When they move into a unit, they're capped by the payment standard. So after the housing authority pays our portion based on the payment standard, families pay approximately 30% of their income towards their rent and utilities. They're not allowed to pay more than 40% of their income towards rent and utilities. And so it's important to have a higher payment standard because it gives families options while they are looking for units. And so what happens is each unit that we approve, we still doing a rent comparable. So what happens is, because I'm raising the payment standard doesn't mean I'm raising the rents in Michigan City. So what we do is every landlord requests a rent or a rent increase, we go to a site called affordablehousing.com, and we check rent comps for the area. So if the rent comps are low, they still stay low no matter what the payment standard is. This just gives the option that if the comps are higher, then we're able to give some flexibility for families when they're looking for a unit. So it basically assists families in picking units that are more expensive.
Any questions?
Just on the 5 and 6 bedroom of the FMR NA, they don't have a standard for 5 or 6, but we base ours on what standard?
So what happens is when HUD, if you look at one of the pages here, HUD's fair market rents don't give options for 5 and 6 bedroom. They only go up to 4. So we're directed to do a calculation to get 5 and 6 bedroom payment standards. And on your form here with payment standards, at the bottom, it tells you that payment standards for units larger than 4 bedrooms are calculated by adding additional 15%. So a 5 bedroom unit is calculated by adding 15% to the 4 bedroom payment standard, and then a 6 bedroom would be calculated by applying 30% to the 4 bedroom payment standard.
Very good, thank you.
Any other comments? Is there a motion on the resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Could you call the roll for the vote, please?
Chairman Lonnie?
Melanie?
I'm so sorry.
Aye.
Vice Chair Rayner? Commissioner Benny? Aye. Commissioner Benson?
Aye.
Commissioner Conley? Sorry, that's it.
4 in favor, none opposed. Resolution passes. And we got another resolution for flat rents. Now, this is the money that we collect for our own public housing units that we collect, correct?
So for public housing families, public housing participants are allowed, or residents are allowed to either choose a flat rent, or they're allowed to choose rent based on their income. So the housing authority has to set the flat rent. And as clients recertify on an annual basis, they have the option to set a flat rent. And if you set the flat rent, their income doesn't have to be looked at again for the next 3 years. And so it gives the family the option just setting the flat rent. Anytime the family's income would decrease, they would have the option of going back to an income-based rent. And so HUD then again just allows us to set the flat rent, again, based on the fair market rents. With the flat rent, it's a little opposite. Flat rents are actually 80% of the FMR. So the amounts that you have here are 80% of the FMR. So it's a little different in the voucher program. And so once a family chooses flat rent, they will pay that flat rent as opposed to it being based on their income.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Then we can call for the vote, please.
Chairman Loney?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reyna.
Aye.
Commissioner Benning.
Aye.
Commissioner Benson.
Aye.
4 in favor, none opposed, resolution passes. And also under new business, you'll see that we've got 3 different possible conferences. I know we've done training, we've tried to emphasize training because we need it, make sure we're doing things the right way, make sure we understand fair life rents and all that fun stuff. So I know we've gone to the NELRAD conference the last couple of years. That seems to be beneficial to the agency, so I'm thinking that we want to continue doing that. We've got the date here, early bird, where there's already time to register for that if we want to do that. And then there are 2 FADA conferences, one in January and one in May. So I want to know what the board had in mind for those conferences training.
I've already requested Ms. Dixon to sign me up for the 25 Commissioners Conference or check availability for it.
The one in January?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in favor of meeting with commissioners and executive level staff to go with. It's gonna help us as an agency.
So anyone wanting to go, just reach out to me and we'll go ahead and get that situated for you. There's actually a conference here that's not listed, and that is NARO. NARO has an annual legislative conference in DC every year around March. So I can get that information for the next board meeting. And in addition, they usually have a summer symposium for those that may be interested. And so I apologize that we didn't get that in here, but we can, those are some of the conferences that are there. I just wanted to point out the conference in January is actually a commissioners conference. It's full of commissioners. It's a good networking experience. So all of them are great. All of them have something for commissioners as well as staff. Just wanted to point out that that January conference is actually aimed at commissioners. Not that you couldn't attend any other. For the staff, what I really primarily wanted to focus on for this coming year is to making sure that everyone has the actual certifications they need. So we won't be doing a lot of conferences with the staff. The intent is just to make sure everyone has the actual certifications necessary. So this predominantly will be the commissioners and maybe myself, I'm not sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then the nice thing about FADA and NALRA, at least, probably NARO, is there's training available because we're members of those organizations as well. So you can go online and get training, just like you can go to the HUD and get the Commissioner's Legal Aid training, which kind of goes into the whole business. I just wanted to see if anybody's logged on, made their account, done any training.
Just made the account training up.
I've done the commissioner training, and I saw they had an Inspire course.
Yeah.
So I'm probably about half, 3/4 through that,
Awesome.
which is pretty easy to follow through. I mean, the computer talks to you, you take the tests, and
Yeah, there's some audio, some interactive
Yep,
stuff.
yep. You learn a lot. I'd recommend that too. That's pretty interesting.
All right, well, since we've taken care of the business, let's go back to reports. Well, no, public comments. Do we have any members of the public that would like to speak? Could you please come to the podium? State your name, and remember you got like 3 minutes to speak. We do have a clock. Just in case. Go ahead. Yeah.
My name is Connie Shorter, and I'm coming here today just to speak about the problems I've been having with the executive director and the director, which is Ms. Dixon and Ms. Miranda.
Well, so you're not supposed to talk about names. You can tell us that you're having a problem that we need to take
I
care
never
of.
been before.
Okay, I'm letting you know.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing. I never had to come to one of these meetings before because I never had a problem with nobody working before. So I just have issues with things that I've been dealing with, and it really is going to take a toll on me. I should have to pray to God give me strength every day, and I have to call to communicate with one of them, and it's just like it's not getting better. So I have put complaints in. I've been talking to people out of town. I have been doing a lot of networking to try to see what am I doing wrong, or is this how we supposed to be talked to, or this what's supposed to be going on, or what am I doing wrong, or whatever. Because it was told to us that people that was doing so wrong and they here to clean up something that they messed up, how would I know what's wrong and what's right if I never knew in the first place? So it's confusing, I'm under a lot of stress. So from this point on, I was just wondering if I could do everything through text, email, as far as face-to-face communicating, until they learn respect and how to talk to people. I cannot keep giving them the same respect that they're not giving me. So I'd rather just do everything through email because I am seeking legal issues. So I need a copy of the copy of the med paperwork. I never got that. I need a copy of the policy because it was told to me the things that was going on that they was doing was because of the policy. I have now got a copy of the policy. I do not have a copy of my lease. So how would I know what they're telling me is supposed to be because it's from a policy? I need the copy of the policy to make sure that that's what's being told to me the correct way. Because I feel like I'm being picked on. It's just point blank period. I was only going to redo a certification. I did my lease in May, my certification in May, and I had to come back and do it over. Now, if it was any errors that popped up that went on me, I did the exact same thing that I did already, so I never did nothing different, so like I had to do it over, which is okay. And then I had a problem with one of my son off the lease, and he only wanted to get off the lease because, like I was telling her, it wasn't just because of the income increase, it's the fact that my son is 21 years old. And I have a bunch of issues with my body, which I have paperwork with. So he got the water bill, the NISCO, the phone bill, any bill, and he's only a kid. Both our college now, we don't have no transportation, so he under a lot of stress his own self, and his father got murdered. So he going through a lot. So they think it's just an increase over $27. I'm trying to explain that's not the issue. It's not over just $27. He is a kid. He's the only one in the house that has income at the moment. So we were just thinking about what could I do if I just want to get off the lease? And then it was like, well, he need to change his ID, whatever address he's moving to, so we can have a copy of that. He like, no, I don't trust them to have my new address. So he's like, okay, then I'm trying to help you to make everything better for you because I gotta have surgery again, which I have paid for. Anything I'm saying, I can prove it. I'm not a lawyer, which I have been told that I am a lawyer, but I'm not. Period. I'm too grown. I'm not a kid. Kids make up stories with grown-ups. I repeat anything that is told to me, how it's told to me, and then I'll leave it at that. So the issue is I'm tired of being disrespected and I'm tired of being mistreated. If I call up here, you're a grown woman, the attitude, all that is too much for me. I only can take so much. And I even said once upon a time to her, you don't know what people are going through mentally. So when y'all would just pop off at people's, you don't know what nobody you're dealing with, you shouldn't do that. No matter what I go through, I'm nice to people. I'm hello, how you doing? Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Even no matter what they did to me, I'm still yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Hello, how you doing? I don't get that back. I'm not going to keep you disrespected. So if anything, anybody can do to help, I can do everything through text, email, until I get everything situated, or I can pour it out to make everything better, because it's not going to get better, it's going to get worse.
Okay, thank you for bringing that to us. We can't handle it right now, but we can get with you after the meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak? Any other members of the public? Any other members of the public? Nope, okay, on to the next. Did we have any communication? Okay. On to our reports.
Marisol Moran, HCD Program Manager. The report is for September 2024 monthly activities. Our Housing Choice Voucher Program is at 63% right now. We have 235 out of 377. We have regular vouchers at 232, home ownership vouchers at 3. Our monthly HAP received was 164,303. The monthly HAP spent was 175,480. For the wait list, the 382 applicants, there were 12 that were selected and 2 moved on to final eligibility. Vouchers issued overall program activities was 3. There are 9 currently searching vouchers, new lease-ups, there have been 5. In our PIC late re-exams, we do have 1. The PIC late inspections, we have 231. We have had 2 port-ins in the month of September, 1 port-out. I am billing for port for 3. And our PIC reporting rate has increased to 99.15.
Did we have any questions?
So I have a question as far as the voucher searching. So we have 382 applicants, correct?
Correct, currently on the wait list, yes.
Okay, and so you're saying out of the 382, there's only 9
No.
people that are, or tenants that are searching for homes?
The 9 searching could be tenants that are transferring to other units that are moving out of their current unit already on the program. So those are tenants searching. So say an intent to vacate was submitted, I issued them a voucher, they're looking for a unit, they have 120 days to locate a unit, so they're searching. So that number does not coincide with the wait list number.
Okay.
So from the 382 on the waiting list, 12 families were selected. So out of the 382, so 12 are in the middle of completing final eligibility. So once they finish that process, then if they're eligible, they'll issue a voucher, and then there'll be voucher searching on the waiting list. So you have 2 types of voucher searching. You have the people from the waiting list, and then you have families that are on the program that are moving around.
But they're current participants. They're not new coming off the wait list. Even Portland's are current, they could be current participants also, so, searching.
Anything else? Thank you, Marisol.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the property manager for public housing. I'm going to jump into the wait list. Right now, we have 2,189 applicants. I did select 50 applicants. I withdrew 35 applicants, and right now we have 15 for the final eligibility. As far as home ownership and business activity, there hasn't been any changes. With the developments, Lakeland is at 82%. We have 9 vacant units with 1 ready. Boulevard Gardens is at 76%. We have 24 vacant units with 16 units ready. Our Harborside Homes is at 86%. We have 2 vacant units. They're not ready. We have 0 that's ready. The Harborside Duplexes is at 83%. We have 1 vacant unit. Scattered Sites is at 83% with 2 vacant units. And our business activities is at 76% with 6 vacant units. We received 35 work orders for the month of September, and we closed out 24, and we have 56 total outstanding work orders. And
So I have a question with and I wish I had, well, we didn't have a meeting last month because we didn't have a quorum, but the month before that, the month of August, I don't have it in front of me, but how proactive are we with the vacant units? We have 24 in Boulevard Gardens that are vacant. We have, and I understand of those 16 already, there's 8. With us having a wait list of over 2,000, how aggressive, how proactive can we be considering the fact that there's such a dire need for housing just for people in general, but for our tenants that are on these wait lists, how proactive can we be to get these units up and ready?
Absolutely. What's happening is, first of all, our waiting list is old. And so when you see that she pulled 50 families from the waiting list, when those families are withdrawn, when she's pulling them in for units, they may have at the time been eligible. Now they're not. They don't respond to us. They're not wanting the unit. They've gone on and found other housing. So once one of the issues that the waiting list is old. So that's the reason for having to pull more. When we started this process, we were pulling 10 at a time. And so as you see, as we're going through the waiting list, we'll be pulling more because now we're becoming more familiar that these families are not they're not interested, they may have moved. We're getting a lot in both programs, we're getting a lot of mail that's being returned and so forth. And so we have to slowly go through the waiting list and give everybody that opportunity when their name is pulled. So it just makes it a little bit moving slow. So typically, and I've discussed with both managers, what the issue is on an annual basis, when you're not directly working in the waiting list, you should do a purge. And that should happen once a year, that every applicant can get a letter, and then they have an opportunity to come in and, update their application, update their family size and all of that, and then remove anyone who's not eligible or not interested or who that mail is the return. And then the way you have well, for lack of a better word, a fresh waiting list or more active waiting list. And so unfortunately, at this point, we're not able to purge while we're going through it. So that's why they're starting to pull more. But we already anticipate we will have to open the waiting list sooner than later. And one of the things that we discussed specifically for Boulevard Gardens is we may have to just open the waiting list only for Boulevard Gardens, because that's what's an issue too. We don't have a lot of people who need 1 bedroom. So we have 2,000 people, but I have a lot of people need 2 bedrooms and so forth.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank you. But still, the units that we have and the units that aren't ready, what is the holdup of getting every single unit ready, considering the ratio of tenants to units?
Absolutely, that's actually part of my report. That's the rehabs.
I did want to ask, so on the vacant units, how many of these are in mod status? Are any of these that are marked vacant, are they in mod, or are those just need normal work?
We are actually working with HUD to put those units in mod. I'm currently working with Valeri to put the required units in mod.
Okay, so they're not currently, that's why they're showing this vacant?
No, they have not been placed, but she's working with us to do that.
So that triggers another question for me, because I've been in Michigan City all my life. I know different sides of town, and I see a lot of homes that I've been made aware are housing authority units. They're boarded up. Is it safe to say a lot of those are more than likely in mod, or those are just ones that we need to get a handle on and get open? I mean, they're homes, like 3-bedroom homes with basements and...
Well, outside of Boulevard Gardens and in Lakeland, we have 2 at Harborside Homes, 1 at the duplex, and 2 at the scattered sites. So I don't know if you may be referring to business activities as well. So as far as the mod units and those, I think there's about 6? No, 5. So there's 5 units that are vacant outside of Lakeland and Boulevard Gardens. So
Okay.
maybe those are the ones you're referring to.
So if that's the case, where are we at with, I mean, because it really looks like an eyesore, and then when people look it up and they say, this is a housing authority home.
Absolutely.
We know that people are in need of homes. Why isn't this home up for repair to get renovated so that it can be ready to be?
Absolutely. So if you look, a lot of the units, when you look at the 16 units that are ready at Boulevard Gardens, that's a lot of the progress that we've made, that the maintenance those units have not been ready, I know, through our entire process of us being here. So the maintenance have been turning over, and that's why we have 16 units at Boulevard Gardens open. But you're right, we are working to do the rehabs. Again, that's part of my report here. But we have made some progress, because a lot of these units have been open, been vacant for quite some time, way before any of us, started here. So I definitely agree, and we're working to, actually, I'll just say it now, we're in the middle of doing an RFP. I've actually have 2 RFPs done, sent out, and I'm working on 2 others, one for Lakeland and one for Boulevard Gardens. And so I anticipate no later than Monday or so having those RFPs sent out.
Okay.
Did my practice run on some smaller RFPs.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So then we've got finance.
Yeah, we got finance. So with finance, this is the list of payments that we've made for the public housing, the voucher program, as well as business activity for the month of September. I know you're kind of tired of hearing the same old story. The fee account is still closing all of our months from September until the end of the fiscal year. They have until November 30th to do so. And so again, until that's reconciled, I don't have an actual financial financial report. We have been, the finance staff, Tammy as well as Melinda have been working diligently getting all of the information to the fee accountant so that we can go back and close basically an entire year. Normally what that process would go, they would be closing the months as the year progressed, and then at the end of the year they would only be closing the year end, but they're actually closing 12 months worth of financials. And so that's where we're at on that, which is also a little more part of my report as well. But for right now, we just have the list of bills for this month of September.
Any questions on the expenses? Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Guthrie?
Roll, please.
Yes. Chairman Loney?
Aye.
Vice Chair Rayner?
Aye.
Commissioner Benning?
Aye.
Commissioner Benson?
Aye.
Great votes. Executive Director.
All right.
You give us a sneak preview.
I'm gonna bore
You
you.
got 2 months worth to.
I'm gonna bore you. So first of all, the operating subsidy that was approved in the August board meeting has been submitted to HUD. So that was definitely a weight lifted. We have the operating subsidy. The operating subsidy is, excuse me. The operating subsidy is the money that we receive from HUD to manage the public housing program, and it also calculates what we receive for our capital fund. So we actually have been working hard. That will be submitted between today and tomorrow morning. We have a shortfall budget for public housing. That shortfall budget helps for renovation to our public housing units that are completed by our maintenance after hours or our contractors. And so that has already been submitted. I will go ahead and apply for a waiver for the unaudited financial submission. The unaudited financial submission for 2025 is due on November 30th. I'm just going to ask for a waiver just in case, because they do, the accountant does have 12 months worth of financials to do. So just in case, we're going to apply for a waiver just to have a little precaution there. One of the successes we have is that when we came on board, there was a company that was doing inspections for the HCD program. They were charging the Housing Authority $160 for each inspection that was done, and there was not any communication or letters or anything else that we were getting for that $160. So I reached out to a company called McWhite & Associates, and they complete HQS inspections. I was able to piggyback off a contract that the Gary Housing Authority is doing, and now those same inspections will cost us maximum $40 for each inspection, and that includes communication. So that includes letters to the landlord. That includes an actual inspection phone number. So the landlords and tenants don't call the Housing Authority for inspections. They will call the inspector directly. And so that is a weight lifted and some resources that are released. And this will also help us in catching up on the late inspections that Ms. Miranda spoke of. So we were really excited about that. And then it makes the whole process electronic. We get a notification every morning of any inspections that were completed, that need to be scheduled. And I just can't express to you how wonderful that is. The next, did anybody questions so far? Because I'll just keep going. The safety grant. The safety grant is for Boulevard Gardens for the hallways, doors, and security cameras. We are moving forward. I know it seems like we're moving slow. The last update I had on November 4th was that they were preparing for fiber optic cables to be set down. So that was being ordered. And so we're just moving along with that. The other item that we have, there is a procurement guru named Mike Gifford, and there's a procurement software that I was able to get for the Housing Authority, and it allows us to create RFPs, RFQs. There's templates for anything that you think you might want to need, and also too, it's a place for vendors to also see your RFPs. So the vendors who are in your area, in your state, who are interested in have that business, they can be looking at the same time you're posting. So I'm very happy to say I posted 2 RFPs, one for snow removal and one for grass cutting. I know I'm getting ahead of myself with the grass cutting, but we're gonna go ahead and put that out there now. So that is posted through the procurement website, procurement software, and it's also posted on FADA's website. The other thing that was mentioned was, of course, the rehabs. We definitely understand that they need to be done. We are completing the RFPs for rehabs for the, starting with Boulevard Gardens and Lakeland. So the 5 units that you're working on, I'm trying to get these out first, and then I'll work on those units within the city that you mentioned. And then after that will be business activities. So starting with those 2. Is there any other questions about any of the RFPs or the rehabs? We hear you, we know that they have to be done. The maintenance, like I said, has really stepped up and done quite a bit of turnover. And it's funny because originally we were told, oh, we need more rehabs, and then as we progress, that number is shrinking. the maintenance work orders are going down, and now they're spending more time rehabbing some of the units, so the number of units that we have to contract out has actually decreased in the last few months, so we're really happy about that. We are still partnering with the Food Bank of Northern Indiana. There had been something circulating that we were no longer doing that, but we are definitely still providing food to our seniors. We did get clarification from the food bank that it is a senior program, so we are continuing to do that on a monthly basis. Tenant meetings are continuing. We had a tenant meeting last week at Lakeland, and we have another one scheduled next week for Boulevard Gardens. Also to Boulevard Gardens, a couple of the problems that we've had in the time we've been here, I've been here, is one, the mailboxes. There was a big issue about residents not having keys. So we have now replaced the locks and keys for everyone who did not have access to their mailboxes, and then anyone who needs to, they just put in a work order and we get that taken care of right away. But we solved that. That was a big point of contention for a while. The other issue we were having at Lakeland, I have it labeled here, lights out. We were having a problem in the evening with the lights in the area. The first issue was that we had to replace the timer. So the lights are set on a timer, they come on and go off. Once we replaced the timer, we noticed that all the lights still weren't coming on. We actually have Emerald Higher Electrical that have been working this week there's about 7 lights that are out here. I believe there's 7. They are working to get those turned on. Lakeland, I kind of going back a little bit, in the month of August, after our last board meeting, we had a situation in Lakeland where we had no utilities for about 48 hours. Chairman Roney was familiar with that. During that time, myself and the property manager worked to relocate quite a few residents. I want to say 20 to hotels for 2 days to accommodate them when temperatures were high and there was no utilities. One of the things that so what we did was we placed them in hotels, and we also gave gift cards for food for the families. And then families who do not select to go to a hotel, we gave them a credit on their rent for the next upcoming month. The property manager and I are now currently working on a plan in place for emergency planning, so that when that happens, we know who we need to relocate and accommodate. So we're working on a plan, so hopefully we don't have to put everyone in hotels again, or at least know, just have a plan in place for when that happens, because that honestly took us a little off guard. The next thing that we're doing for Boulevard Gardens, we are planning a Thanksgiving feast for our senior residents. You have that flyer with you. We're very excited about that. We want to provide an early Thanksgiving meal for our residents. We're going to have bingo, a few prizes, and a raffle. Commissioners are more than welcome to attend if you would like to join us. That's that. Let's see. I've been a little busy since I've been almost 6 months now. I've been in this office. And sometime September, early October, I said, it's really time for me to get out and about. It's time for me to get out and about and do a bit of networking and just learning and becoming a little more familiar with the Michigan City community. And so one of the steps that I've done to do that is I joined the Michigan City Leadership Academy. And so it is sponsored by the city, Michigan City. And so really excited about that. It's about a 2-month program. And so that is portion. And then I renewed our membership with the Michigan City Chamber of Commerce. And this past, was it last week? I attended the Inspiring Women. It was phenomenal. The keynote speaker was juvenile magistrate Erica Stallworth. So I was really excited to, again, get out, meet people from Michigan City and really just learn about, a lot about it. I'm sorry, we're not to digress, but the Michigan City Leadership Academy, it was awesome. For me, not being from Michigan City, it just gave me an idea of like how this community, like how it started. I mean, we really went back to the roots of the planning stages of Michigan City, and it was just really awesome to be able to see that. They had a few people come in and talk about Michigan City from that point until we've gotten here till today, and some of the plans moving forward. So I was really excited about that. To close, if that's not enough, I'm really pleased to say that we're receiving a lot of positive feedback from residents, landlords. A lot of the negative feedback that we receive have a lot to do with us enforcing HUD rules and regulations and policies that just weren't enforced before. We believe that most clients are seeing that we're trying and that things are improving, and they may not be improving at the rates that we would all like them to, but they are definitely improving. In talking with the staff, we actually, was really surprised. I'll try not to tear up here. Yesterday, they surprised me on Boss's Day. I had no idea that it was Boss's Day. And it just gave us a time to talk about not just me, but our successes since we've been here. We have these little huts, if you will, where we try to encourage each other. We have at the end of each day, because we've had some bad days, and what was the win for today? And what we found out is that over time, we have way more wins on a daily basis than we're having what we consider losses. And so when we finished our Boss's Day yesterday, or our meeting, one of the things that I took away was that we discussed is the positive feedback really gives us the motivation to keep pressing towards the mark. And any feedback that we determine or appear as negative, it helps keep us accountable. It helps keep us accountable, and it keeps us focused on what our purpose is here. And so we just, kind of, hoo hoo hurrah, and just encourage one another, because we really see so much potential and greatness for this housing authority, and I can just see it. We just have to get to it, but it's there. It is definitely there. So I'll get off my soapbox.
Any questions for the executive director?
Just a question about the procurement software.
Yes.
That's developed and that's in place now.
Yes, yes,
We've had our issues with procurement here in the past.
yes.
This takes care of all of that, regulations of obtaining different quotes and bids.
Absolutely. So what it does is it really gives me what the requirements are. I've had several procurement classes over the years. I have to say, at previous housing authorities, I've approved things, but it hasn't been me to personally do them. So it, was a good refresher for me. But it gives you a template of what the rules are, should they change or should they not change. We actually updated the procurement policy a couple months ago, so that was number one. But it gives an idea also of what other housing authorities are doing. And again, the gentleman who created the software is known in the industry, I guess, as a procurement guru. And so there's you can ask questions back and forth, no additional charges. Honestly, I think the procurement software, was $1,000 for a year's worth of use. And we're able to, again, like I said, ask questions, view other templates that are there. But most importantly, we're able to have access to vendors that we may not have access to. So now what happens is when you have, if without the software, we have an RFP out, then it's me trying to get the word out to vendors, which we still do, we'll still do locally. But it's good to be able to have an option of people who are looking for work in this area. They can see the RFP that I may not know to reach out to. So that part is pretty good. I've also been connected with the executive director from Mishawaka, who has also been available. Any questions, concerns, not only procurement, but anything finance that we have related. She's been really good about, any questions that we have. And if it needs be, sharing her procurement officer. So that helps, because they actually have a person that, a lot of housing authorities, I won't say most, but a good number of housing authorities actually have one person dedicated to procurement. So that's why here it takes a little bit longer, because we don't have that one dedicated. I'm a little stretched a little bit.
The software will help with that.
Oh, yes, it's already helped. And then, like I said, once I finished the RFPs, I was able to set it out. I was able to put it out to the masses.
Okay, good find, thank you.
Absolutely.
With that software, are you able to put in contracts you currently work with, so they get an email, when it goes out? Or do they have to go to the other sites?
So it's not a, so it's basically where we would post the RFP and the RFQs that are out there, not actual contract that we would have.
Right, no, I just meant so that they could see it, because they're not all necessarily going to be on FADA or looking for housing authority gigs, or just looking for jobs. So you said are we still contacting them directly? People that we've worked with, people who know.
Oh, yes. So I
Contractors
placed it.
that, again, don't look at those sites, but we still.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We need as many people as possible.
Absolutely. So it was just another avenue to
Right.
have vendors that are actually looking for work in this area that use that software. And then again, in addition to that, I posted it on FADA just in case, and then also to sending it to local places. Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else? Attorney's report?
I have no report at this point. Attorney Rags is in litigation he's got going on, he's working on, and he's out of town. I didn't think to ask him before he left, so I don't have anything directly that I'm involved in to report on today.
All right. Well, looks like that takes care of everything on our agenda except for any commissioners' remarks. Any motions?
Make motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.